Greetings, Internet! Today I would like to talk to you about economics. Economics is seeking to describe the factors which determine the production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services. Now, the most important part of economics is to remember that there are many factors to take into consideration when determining whether or not a policy is beneficial for society. Now, let's imagine that you are reading a newspaper. Except that no one reads newspapers anymore, so let's imagine you're reading an article on the internet. The article is about Joe. Now, Joe is having a bad day. Why may vary. Maybe he just lost his job, or maybe his company just went bankrupt, or possibly he was taking advantage of a government program that just got cut. Joe is a real person. However, Joe is not all real people. You can't determine your view based on Joe. Almost every economical choice will help some people and hurt others. You have to take a look at the overall picture and think about who benefits and who it hurts, and what the cost and benefits really are. When you hear about Joe, you should wonder about all those people that aren't in the news that may be affected one way or the other. You have to remember that those other people are just as real as Joe, and you really can't make your decision based solely on him. Another important thing to point out is that money does not come from nowhere. Too often do I hear someone arguing for a new policy by saying, "This policy will help bring the poor out of poverty for reason X, Y, and Z." Think about the argument over the minimum wage. When it's discussed publicly, it'll sometimes have a tone of, "I think that people who work hard deserve more money." Which may be true, but someone has to pay that money, right? Now, the money could come from raising the prices to consumers, or the money could come from there being fewer jobs available for low-skilled workers. It could also come from the firm accepting lower prices. Now, I'm not here to argue for or against raising the minimum wage. I'm merely pointing out that you have to remember that the money is going to come from somewhere. Another important thing to remember when dealing with new policies is that there are always trade-offs, and you must take these trade-offs seriously. Let's look at the question of whether or not we should raise taxes for big corporations. The way that this is usually discussed in public is, should these great big corporations pay, or should your average Joe pay? Should these companies that bring in lots and lots of money pay taxes, or the average man? But you have to remember that corporations are merely organizations, and when money comes out of an organization, it has to come out of somebody's pocket. Maybe it'll come out of the exorbitant salary of these top-level executives of this company. But I think it's much more likely that it will come from higher prices to consumers. You can't say, "Tax the corporations, not the people!" You have to think about who will actually pay. So next time there's a policy up for consideration, remember to take a step back and remember everyone who is actually affected, instead of just those advertised as being affected. Thank you for watching. If you think that you have a good friend that might benefit from this video, do me a favor and share it with them. And remember, don't touch the glass.